We'll make a start. There's just over 600 online now. So thank you all for coming on to listen to our Active and Sustainable Travel seminar today. My name is Joe Seymour. I'm the Assistant Director with the National Transportation Authority. But I'm welcoming you also on behalf of Engineers Ireland, as I am the chair of the Civil Division within Engineers Ireland, which is the largest division within the organisation. So, welcome. We have a lot of interesting topics to listen to today that will hopefully give people inspiration in what can be achieved in a relatively short time. So, we will be covering. Right, that's a bit slow. So there's the agenda for this morning. I'm going to give a bit of a welcome, and then will be Ollie Fallon will chair the first session, which will include speakers from South Dublin County Council, Kerry County Council, and Dublin City Council. And then we'll have a short break, and we will have further presentations chaired by Colin Bransma from Cork, Limerick, Kilkenny, Navan, and Dunleary. So really interesting projects from all over the country. So if you kick straight off, I'm going to do a quick introduction. Where do we come from? We've come a long ways in 5 years. Back in 2020, with the new government at the time, there was a heavy commitment given towards active travel, and the spend profile for active travel, or the budget that was made available, was significantly increased to, as is often used, the 1 million per day. 290 million of that is allocated to the NTA through the Active Travel Fund, which we distribute obviously to the local authorities. And for you local authority members, this is what you deliver on. We have hit the budget every year and exceeded it in most years since 2022. Which is pretty impressive from where we started. Even in 2021, from nearly a standing start, we almost hit 200 million. So it's a pretty impressive stat. For this year, we expect to be at our budget, which is 290 million, maybe a little bit above that. But this is not a reduction in spend. Or what we've achieved. This is the budget that's available this year that we are going to fully utilize, which is what we've done the other years. But as extra money came available, we used it due to underspends in other sections. So what we have done is spent almost 2 billion in active travel infrastructure over the last 10 years. And the vast majority of that is in the last 3 or 4 years, which is an incredible performance over that period. So what have we achieved? What have we done? The figures that are often thrown out there are the kilometers of active travel infrastructure that are constructed, because that is what we were being measured on against a lot of the action plans that were out there. And by the end of this year, we will hit the target of 1,000 kilometers of new or improved active travel infrastructure completed by the end of 2005. But very importantly, active travel infrastructure, even though the media seems to get hung up on that it's cycling infrastructure only, it is not. It is pedestrian and cycling infrastructure. And actually the split in terms of the spend is 60-40 in favor of pedestrian facilities, providing new footpaths, providing crossings, all of that. There is actually a significant, the majority of the funding actually goes into improved pedestrian facilities. And it's a message we probably need to get better at giving as it gets overlooked, or the cycling aspect gets focused on as part of, I suppose there's no other way of looking at it, the culture war that is going on at the moment. But we have achieved the target that was set for us in 2021. Now, it's not a great measure, though. That's the one thing I would say. Kilometers of infrastructure is only one aspect. In that period, we have delivered 1,100 junction upgrades. That could be pedestrian crossings put on all arms, things like that, fully segregating the cycle facilities, changing the layouts to make them safer for vulnerable road users, that type of thing. But over 1,000 junctions upgraded in that time period. 1,200 pedestrian crossings provided. Now, I've shown a zebra crossing there. These could be signalized crossings. They could be the old style zebra crossings with Belisha beacons. These ones with the new sign only started in the last year or so. But we've put in 1,200 pedestrian crossings in that period. 500 schools are actively engaged in the Safe Routes to School program, with approximately 130 of these completed and 40 under construction, 51 at detailed design stage, which will come on stream probably in the next 6 to 12 months. And a further 450 schools outside of the Safe Routes to School program have benefited from active travel funding over the last 5 years. So while there's a lot of focus on the Safe Routes to School program, rightly, we do a lot of work around other schools, and we're in the region of 1,000 schools benefiting already from active travel infrastructure, and that's nearly a quarter of all the schools in the country. 30,000 cycle parking stands have been provided in that period. A vast majority of these are probably in schools, but I know, going by responses recently, bike sheds are almost the worst thing you can mention in the current political environment. However, they're essential pieces of the cycle infrastructure work that we do. They provide secure parking at destinations, and we all know if you're a cyclist, the fear of having your bike taken is real. So they are very important pieces of infrastructure. Uh, Interestingly, if we look at the Safe Routes to Schools program where we put the cycle parking in, it is all over the country. And last year we actually did a slightly different method of sending the money out for the cycle parking, in that we allowed it to be used to upgrade or expand facilities that had already been put in around the country. And some of the photographs that we saw coming in looking for that money were incredible, with absolutely chock-a-block cycle parking in some of these schools. And we have seen CSO data that suggests there's a significant uptake in walking and cycling to schools in recent years, which is showing some results, positive results. We've also built 28 new pedestrian cycle bridges. A lot of them are relatively small, but not all of them. We have a significant bridge ongoing in Waterford at the moment, which will link greenways on both sides of the river, will link the new train station into the city centre, and will be an integral sustainable transport link in the city. Streetscape improvements is something that it's nice to see as part of our projects. The integration of having engineers and planners and landscape architects working together does produce better looking schemes. And you'll see the video of McCurtain Street later on, which is one of those schemes, but there are many, many examples all over the country. And then more recently, we've started looking at incorporating nature-based solutions into schemes so that we make them even more sustainable. There's a lot of projects around the country that have good examples of this, but what we're doing at the moment is building an exemplar example in Dunleary as part of Dunleary Central. This will have loads of different examples of what can be achieved in urban spaces, and we will use this to provide opportunities for people to visit to see these examples over the coming years as soon as it's finished. What is really important in terms of what we've done over the last few years is we've also generated a massive pipeline of projects. So for example, if 100 million extra was found next year for active travel, I think we would be in a position that we could spend that money because of the pipeline of projects. So we're in a really good position that if the funding fluctuates, we can respond as the local authorities, the consultants, the contractors. We know how we can deliver these projects very efficiently at this point. And we have some very, very big projects going to planning on Commission Planola this year. 3 significant projects that will be lodged there that have taken quite a lot of work over the recent while. And they're all nationally strategically important active travel routes on the Royal Canal and connecting out to Malahide from Sutton. So these will all be lodged and they will be ready hopefully within a year, that they can be also moved on with at that time. Something that we often overlook as well, we have sustained 3,000 jobs per year And importantly, these are every part of the country. They're not just in the East Coast, the South Coast, or whatever. They are all over the country. Lots of SMEs, lots of small consultants are gaining work out of the active travel investment funding. So we have achieved an awful lot in the last 5 years, and it's something to be really proud of for all those who've been involved. Okay, so moving on now, in terms of what's coming up, new publications have been published recently. The School Streets, Finola will deal with later. Some of you will be aware that there was quite significant changes to the Roads Traffic Act completed there at the start of October. They're all enacted now. We are hoping to publish the traffic signs manual either this week or next week. It's already done. It's just a matter of getting it up onto the internet in the next couple of days, and that will incorporate all those changes that were put in place in the Roads Acts, and will allow them to be used going forward. So this is a big milestone. We set a target when we did the cycle design manual to have that done in 2 years, and we got it done in 2 years. It was a significant amount of work, and all those involved really appreciate the help that was given. In terms of the cycle design manual, personally, one of the things I'm most proud of over the last few years was getting this done. But it is not a complete document. We need to update some aspects of it, take lessons learned, and we're underway at that at the moment. And the first thing that will come out as a change will be some modifications to the cycle design manual, which are underway. So what about the next 5 years? Really importantly, the National Development Plan um, gave a strong commitment to continue the work of active travel over the next 5 years. And 360 million has been committed for 2026. The intention is hopefully to continue that through to 2030, but we don't, that is not confirmed and won't be for another 4 to 6 weeks. Now that 360, 290 of that is what the NTA will distribute through the active travel investment support, and the other money is distributed through TII and greenways and some greenways that are undertaken by the NTA directly. Really importantly, there has been some major plans published recently that emphasize the importance of active travel. And one of those is the phase 2 of the road safety strategy that places great emphasis on improvements for active travel. Now, you will notice straight away the kilometers are still there, but now we have junctions, now we have bus stops, front of school treatment. So we're changing the actions a little bit to make them more useful. Something Quentin will address later, we now have access to the Road Safety Authority's accident database, and that is throwing up really important information that we will look to drive investment in the future, but Quentin will address that later. Another area that's often overlooked is health. In October, the Department of Health introduced a new plan, National Physical Activity Action Plan, which also places great emphasis on active travel, incorporating active travel into your daily commutes and things like that, so that you get the element of fitness from it. And how you design active and urban cities, taking that into account. So it's an interesting area that we probably need to focus on a little bit more. And coming soon, we'll be moving together. This is likely to be published from the Department of Transport, which will set out the transportation requirements going forward. But most importantly, as far as I'm concerned, is we need to start completing links in the network. We have a long ways to go to get the network completed, but we do not have long ways to go to get really critically important links completed. There are sections now, long sections of routes, 7+ kilometers in length in some cities, that can easily start to be linked up over the next few years. What I would like for us to do as a community is to try and finish some of these routes within this 5 year and get this backbone of a cycle network completed in most cities. And it's really, really important that we do that and start showing that active travel can be a viable way of moving around cities. Finally, turn off your phone. And if you're sitting at home with multiple screens, turn off the other screen. And let's focus on hearing about some of the really impressive projects that have been delivered over the last while. And more importantly, enjoy the seminar. I'm going to hand you over to Ollie Fallon now, who will be the timekeeper. And as they have all been instructed, they will be interrupted if they run over, which I have, unfortunately, which is always the way with me. Thank you very much, and we'll move on now to Ollie Fallon.